Chris Billam-Smith has done it. He has beaten Lawrence Okolie to win the WBO Cruiserweight title at the Vitality Stadium in Bournemouth, his hometown club. What a night for Chris Billam-Smith. Hello and welcome to a special episode on the channel, Fight Night with Callum Nickel. I have just finished watching an interesting night of boxing, actually, and Chris Billam-Smith has just defeated Lawrence Okolie at the Vitality on a majority decision, which in itself was pretty questionable. And what an interesting fight it was. For a long period of the fight, the frustrations in the crowd with the corner, especially Billam-Smith's corner, were massive. Lawrence Okolie, he is an awkward fighter, but one that has held that cruiserweight title and been a wrecking ball in his career so far. He held on to the clinch for so long, for so many times. He made it very awkward and very tricky for Billam-Smith, to the point where the referee ended up deducting 2 points off Lawrence Okolie over the course of the fight. And Billam-Smith managed to knock him down 3 times as well. So the points, the points were heavily in Chris Billam-Smith's favour. One thing that did blow my mind was the first judge that was announced scored it 112 each, which... that is crazy. That needs looking at, seriously. It was never that close in that sense. I thought Okolie started the fight physical and made it very hard and very awkward. He was hard to watch at times, but he was getting the punches in and then making it awkward for Chris Billam-Smith to come back and counter with his own. But as the fight went on, it started to seem like that was Lawrence Okolie's only real chance of getting anything, was holding into that clinch after throwing a couple of combinations. And Billam-Smith managed to catch him with one of the sweetest punches I've seen all year for the first knockdown. The other 2 knockdowns weren't as clinical, but they counted nonetheless and went towards the scorecards. And a beautiful moment at the end as he was declared the new WBO Cruiserweight champion. And Chris Billam-Smith, bless him, tears in his eyes, and his missus comes into the ring, and that moment that he shares with his trainer, with his team, and with his family is one, especially at the Vitality, is a moment that he will never, ever forget, and something that it made the fight worth it in the end. It's been a bit of a controversial night for boxing, with obviously 3 world title fights going on the same night, which is a different video in itself and a different argument entirely. But this video is for Chris Billam-Smith because he was the underdog in this fight. Many thought that Lawrence Okolie would go towards the end and get a stoppage. And Chris Billam-Smith showed true determination, a lot of heart, and a very, very strong chin as Okolie began to come forward. After the points were deducted, he didn't have much choice other than to do that. So credit to the final few rounds of the fight for being very, very entertaining. And it was a brilliant finish. It was a very nice conclusion to an interesting night of boxing. And I can't wait to see what Chris Billam-Smith does next, because he is really, really talented. And it'd be great to see him in with Richard Riakporhe again. I'm not sure if that's the fight that's next for him, or if it'll be the rematch with Lawrence Okolie straight away. I imagine that's what will happen. But it was a hard fight to watch at times, but absolutely fantastic result. And so happy for Chris Billam-Smith. Let's see, what do you think? Where do both fighters go from here? I'm sure there'll be a rematch, and hopefully a rematch will see more of what we saw in the latter rounds than what we did in the early stages of the fight. But let me know what you think. What do you think of Lawrence Okolie's style? What do you think of Chris Billam-Smith? And what does the future hold for this division? Is it an exciting one? With Richard Riakporhe in the mix, it could be a crucial time for the division, and it's definitely an exciting one. Thank you very much for watching. Hope you all have a great weekend. I will see you soon.